Praveen sir, you're live now. You may start the presentation.
I mean, is there any introduction or you're just going like that?
Sir, it's just starting. I mean, start off with the presentation.
Okay, how many participants on the screen and how many on the YouTube? Like,
YouTube,
okay.
they're joining in now. I'll get the
Okay.
count. I'll update you.
So just let me know when do I start it?
Okay, you can start in 1 minute, sir.
Yeah.
Praveen sir, you may start the presentation.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, Happy New Year to each one of you out of here. Wishing 2022 great success. We have seen a lot of hardships in 2020 and 2021. I sincerely wish and pray God that 2022 is going to be a year full of success and a year full of good health. Well, at the outset, let me thank MS Ramaya College of Engineer for giving me an opportunity to talk about inculcating leadership skills amongst young budding engineers. Well, young budding engineers, welcome to the show. For the next 1 hour or so, I would be taking you through to my journey of engineering career and thereafter what I did as a civil servant. And I'll be sharing some of my best experiences. All in all, I would call this as a journey of excellence. Why I call it as a journey of excellence is because in this life of ours, we have seen mediocrity. We have seen mediocrity also. I always believe that we need to inculcate excellence in ourselves. If only we have excellence in ourselves, at least a goal for excellence, we would be aiming at the best. Otherwise, what happens? Just imagine a student who is aiming at 50%. You know, a lot of students during my engineering days, they used to focus on only 50%. What used to happen was they used to get 35%. But my journey and my sincere request to all of you is, let us take a pledge that this journey of ours for the next 4 years, I got to know from college authorities that you're all young budding engineers who are going to graduate in another 4 years. So let this 4 years be the change which you always wanted to be. On that front, let me make an honest attempt to try to inculcate the leadership qualities in you. First of all, there's a big question which all of us have been asked. Is leadership something which is inborn, or is leadership is something which we can learn over the period of years? A long time back, a lot of people used to feel that, okay, I should have these many qualities. I should be born with certain qualities like courage and aggression. But believe me, my dear friends, a lot of great leaders of today, just go back. Barack Obama, Sundar Pichai, Narayan Murthy. I don't think they were all leaders who were born with leadership skills. Sundar Pichai was just like an ordinary person like you and I. Barack Obama, he was born to an American mother and Kenyan father, and While he was graduating, he was just an ordinary student. So the most important question here is leadership skills can be acquired. I've been conducting many classes for corporate and general public also about leadership skills. Every time they have a feeling that leadership skills is something which is not for me, it is something for somebody else who is having a better skills. Let us take a pledge that leadership skills can be honed, and I am going to be a great leader in the next 4 years after I graduate my engineering skills. I will take you through a PPT. The PPT will be about a basic overview about what are the most important qualities a leader should have or a leader should develop. And thereafterwards, I'll be talking about my experience as a startup cell manager, Government of Karnataka. I did work as a startup cell general manager with Government of Karnataka, and we came out with a lot of policies. I'll be, touching base upon startup policies and startup policy related programs also. And thereafterwards, I'll be taking a few question and answer sessions from all of you. So we're going to break this session into 3 parts. First, a general view about leadership skills. Okay. Let me share the screen for you. Okay. This is just a basic introduction about what I was and what I am right now. Just for people who don't know about me, I'm a BTech in Electronics and Communication from Mysore University. Then I did my MBA from SDM IMT Mysore. Thereafterwards, I worked as a corporate HR manager in TVS Chennai. And thereafterwards, I joined the civil services because I always felt that you have to be in the system to change the system. So right now, I'm working in BDA. Before this, I was actually ITBT general manager handling startup cell. I have drafted the startup cell policies also. Okay, let's go through the slides. Okay. Okay, that's about how to build leadership skills. The way we're going to go about for the next half an hour or so is this is the way we're going to have content. We're going to have evolution of leader, types of leadership, a transformational leadership, great world leaders, my real-time experiences and commandments. This is how the my interaction with you will be going. So let's see how we actually develop a leader. Okay. First of all, when we think of a leader, can a leader exist in isolation? There has to be 4 important ingredients. One is the person himself. Then for a leader, there has to be people who are going to be followers, obviously. But you have a leader and you have followers. Does that suffice? You need to have tasks. You need to have objectives and goals. Just imagine, my dear friends, what would happen to Gandhi if Britishers were not ruling us? Would Gandhi have emerged? Just think for a moment. The situation plays a very, very important role. What about Nelson Mandela, for that matter? He became a great leader because situation warranted a great leader to emerge. So Gandhi and Nelson Mandela, these are the people who were leaders because situation warranted that. So for me, a great leader actually emerges in a situation. Take the example of Sundar Pichai. Take the example of Bill Gates. These are all the thought leaders who are actually changing the way technology is revolutionizing day by day. So for Gandhi, there was a situation. For Bill Gates, the innovation is a situation. We'll come to that also in the future. So the idea here is you should have 4 ingredients: the person, the people around, the tasks, then the situation. Okay. I will not go much on this because this is management related, and but still I'll just touch base upon this because this is a slide which I used to handle and share with all the management grads and other corporates. But still, I'll just touch base this. What does this Blake and Morton lead style actually speak about? Is when we do certain things in a corporate culture, one, task becomes very important. The second one is people become very important. Most of the times when I was working at TVS Chennai, I've seen that a lot of people actually focus only on task. I had a friend who was working in insurance company. For him, life became hell after 25th of the month. Why was that? Because everybody wanted targets. The boss used to shout at him, saying that, hey, I want targets, I want targets, I want targets. This guy, he's a poor friend of mine. He was literally full of stress. He had BP, he had sugar, and unfortunately, he died at the age of 32. The point I'm trying to drive home here is task the only important thing for us as leaders? Should we not have concerns for people? So if that is the case, then how do we actually lead a team? Ladies and gentlemen, all of you are young budding engineers, but based on my experience, I'm going to tell you that task is very important, but people are also equally important. Without taking concerns of the people, I or you cannot become effective leaders, because task will be achieved only if the people are taken care of, the employees are taken care of. So this slide is basically an overview of what needs to be done based on task and people. This is a grid. It shows about 1 to 9 and 1 to 9 on production scale and for people scale. Some people are very, very high on task. They're more like Hitler. They want the task to be done at any cost. They don't care about the people. They just ask for it. And some people, they just want to be friends with everybody in the organization. Now what happens? He's not worried about task. He wants to become pally-pally with everybody. So that gentleman or a gentle lady, she is goody-goody with everybody, but task doesn't get achieved. So we don't want extreme type of leaders. We want people who are focusing on task at the same time, balancing on people concern also. So that is the need of the hour. We need to have leaders in the future, in the corporate, who will balance the task and who will balance the people concerns also. I'll just give you a small example. What happened when I was in TVS? My MD actually narrated a story. The story goes like this. One fine day, it was month end, and everybody was focusing on targets. This employee, he was manager, gets a call from his home that his wife is sick and she has to be admitted to the hospital. But there's an important corporate meeting also happening at 5 p.m. on that day. This call comes to him at 3 p.m. Now, what will he do? He's concerned about his wife because he's having a small kid also at home. And he's got an important corporate meeting at 5. This is 30th of month. Target has to be met. But now, here a great leader emerged. The MD of a company sent 2 lady employees who were not involved in that corporate meeting to the house of the employee. Those 2 ladies took that officer's wife to the hospital and assured the employee, you can leave at 6 p.m. immediately. We are taking care of everything. She has been admitted to the hospital and she's been taken care of in a very, very wonderful fashion because our team are there. Your concern, we are taking it as our concern. Now, all of a sudden, this employee feels loyal. This employee feels taken care of. He feels that this company definitely does take care of me. And what happens in return? He tries to give the best. So this is a real example which I learned in TVS Chennai when I was HR manager over there. Take care of employees, and employees in turn will take care of your task. If you focus on task only, employees might not be happy. Employees might just pretend in front of you, but if you take care of your employees' welfare, they will take care of your task force. So the point here is, you budding leaders who are going to be managers or whatever, you're going to be vice presidents and MDs in future, always keep it in mind. Take care of employees. Then employees will take care of your task. So this is about one slide. Then the next slide is situational leadership. Pradeep, are you there? Hello? Hello?
Sir,
Pradeep?
I'm here, sir. I'm here, sir.
I mean, if anybody has got doubt, how are they going to ask me? Because if it's a webinar, we used to actually have it. But do you have any mechanism so that they ask for doubts?
No, sir. Since all of the 250 plus students are watching it on YouTube and the live chat is disabled.
So it's a unilateral way of communication. Okay.
Yes, sir. It's more of a speaker oriented and it's
yeah. Because I always wanted to have a interaction with both the budding youngsters, because it makes more interaction more meaningful, because it becomes monotonous. So anyways, we'll go ahead with what we have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, since it's a program where it's a unilateral way, I'll try to understand your problems, because I also was a student like yours, because I never used to sit for more than 1 hour in a class during engineering session. But I do understand the vagaries and problems of engineering student. Okay, coming back to situational leadership. Okay, last slide was about production and task. This slide is about situational style of leadership. Now, sometime back, some 40, 50 years back, the leaders of the organization, the managing directors and the vice presidents used to always tell, okay, boss, I am like this. Everybody of you should adjust according to my style. That was those days, 70s, 80s, 90s. But come 90s and 2000, you have a new set of leadership. The leader tells, okay, I am going to adjust my style of leadership according to the receiver's capacity to grasp. It's something like you're playing a cricket match. For a fast bowler, you have a different approach. For a spinner, you have a different approach. For a googly ball, you have a different approach. So leader of an organization has to adapt himself to the style of grasping capacity. Now, I'll just speak about this for 4 to 5 minutes. Now, why is this important? And just imagine, I'll give you a hypothetical situation, which possibly you all will be encountering in future. And I will share my own experiences. When I was protocol officer, I was a protocol officer for Government of Karnataka. And it was somewhere around 2018. And our chief secretary actually delegated me the responsibility of being a liaison officer. Liaison officer is an important event is happening, and I need to take care of all the VIPs coming from across India and across the globe to Bangalore airport. So I had to handpick and choose certain officers to take care of the VIPs. Now, there is an officer, okay, I'm not talking officer, there is an attender in my office. Can I call him and tell him, Mr. Attender, a VIP is coming to the airport, please go and bring him? Think for a moment. This attender is good to get a coffee, to get a tea, to get a biscuit, maybe arrange all these boardroom meetings. But can I delegate this important job of going to the airport and getting the VIP protocol taken care of? Is this the right decision for me if I was a leader of an organization? But for me, this was the realistic experience which happened in 2018. Now, what I did was, because I was aware of this style of leadership, the attender per se is good for a different style of work. Now, what is that style of work? This slide here, it talks about the directions and support. Directions in the sense you give orders. Okay, do this, do this, do this. The support, you actually give them a different type of support. Okay, what is support you want? This directing style, coaching style, supporting style, delegating style. I'll just touch base upon this. For an attender, I have to do a directing style. It is called as telling style of leadership. Directing style is also called as telling style of leadership. What do I mean by that? Any guy who tells, I am willing to do it, mark these words, willing to do a job is one parameter. And the capacity to do is the second parameter. I'll repeat it. The capacity to do is one parameter. The willingness, okay, boss, I'm ready to take this challenge. That's a willingness. So willingness and capacity are the two parameters which we as leaders should try to figure out when assigning a task. So for an attender, I used to use telling style of it. That's a directing style. What is this? His willingness is less. His capacity is also less. So I used to tell him, boss, come here. There's a VIP coming here. Go and get me 2 South Indian meals from that restaurant. If that restaurant is closed, go to somewhere else and get it. That's okay, cool. Because that guy, he needs to be told. He needs to be directed. Because his grasping capacity is less. So I use that style of leadership with an attender. Now, we have a coaching and a supporting. Now, what happens in an organization? When you have very capable people, but they're not willing to do it. They're not willing to do it. They just don't want to. They just don't want, because they don't want you to take the laurels. They're capable, but not willing. So what you need to do there? You need to actually support them. You need to tell them, boss, this is the way. This is important for organization. You are important for organization. Please be a part of the organization. You are a capable person. You motivate him. You support him. You actually give him incentives. Then tell him, because of you, we are here. And just motivate him. Because the leader's skills are tested when you are able to get the best out of your employees. First instance, you told the telling style, boss, this is the way to do it. But here you are telling your capable employee who is not willing, you're motivating. That's coaching style. Then there's a delegating style, very, very important. I use this style always with people who are capable and who are willing to do. Mark these words, my dear friends. It's a very, very important part. This capacity to do and willingness to. It's only possible when these two parameters are there. Only and only then you need to delegate the job to them. If somebody tells, sir, I'm ready, check out for the capacity. Is this guy good enough? Good enough, then delegate the job. I'll just recollect, a great late Dhirubhai Ambani actually telling in one of the interviews. Some press journalist actually asked Dhirubhai Ambani, Ji, what is the secret of your success? He tells only one thing. Hire right people. Second, delegate the job. Beautiful words. Should be written in golden words. Hire right people. HIRE, hire. Recruit right people. Have right people in your team. And delegate the job. You hire the best of people and don't delegate the job. Gone. Done and dusted. Because that guy is not going to do the things for you. And you hire wrong people, you delegate job, again, disaster. So the most important secret for a top level manager or leader is hire the right person and delegate the job. So telling style is different. Your coaching style is different. Your supporting style is different. For me, the most important style here is delegating and telling style, directing style, because we as leaders in the future, we need to focus on delegating style. We can't delegate things to everybody, but we need to find the right person and delegate them. This is the most important topic, this is the most important takeaway which I want you to understand in a situational leadership. So we adjust according to the grasping capacity of the follower. Okay. Next, we'll try to get into transformation leadership. What is transformation leadership? Transformation leaders don't get into theories. They just don't get into theories. I don't know about situational leadership. I don't know other theories. They just transform. What is transform? A transformer. There's an input and output is huge. You actually put 10% input, you get 100% output. Electricity transformer, what does it do? It actually amplifies electricity to a different level altogether. The input is this much. When you get output, it's so much. That's transformation. Transformation leaders actually do the same thing to all their followers. They just amplify the capacity of the followers. I want all of you to actually think in terms of becoming transformational leadership. Theories are fine. Theories of leadership are fine. Everything is fine. But the beauty of the game is become a transformational leader. Just imagine how satisfying it would be if you can transform thousands of people. Let your journey of excellence have a goal of becoming a transformational leader. So that by the time you actually finish your lifetime, if you're able to at least influence 1,000 people, I think that's a huge phenomenon. So this journey of excellence, let's all take a pledge to become transformational leaders in the next 4 years. Okay. Most important thing, how do we actually become great leaders? Well, I have tried a small, if I made some small efforts, I tried to figure out the best from these great transformational leaders. Thereafterwards, I'll be talking about my experience, real-time experiences. For me, the best part of becoming a leader is learn from history. The great leaders have actually come, they've lived, they've went away, they've passed away. But human tendencies, human requirements have been the same. Same, absolutely the same. But the situations were different. Situation now is different, situation then is different. But leaders have actually contributed something to the world. Let's see what best we can learn from these leaders. The most important thing Gandhiji actually always inspires us was, he had this great attitude, great ability to unite people. If there was some event happening, a clarion call from Gandhiji would unite thousands of people, millions of people. Nowadays, you have WhatsApp. Nowadays, you have Telegram. Nowadays, you have the social media. It's easy to get leaders. It's easy to get followers. But can you get the followers like Gandhi during those days when he never had social media? That was a hallmark of a great champion. He had the ability to unite people. But most important question which I want to ask you all is, okay, fine, Gandhiji had a capacity to unite people. But why did Gandhiji, why did people believe in Gandhiji? That's a trust factor. Gandhiji actually lived by example. He had a very bad experience in South Africa when he was thrown out off the railway train. And then he came to India. But then the rapport which Gandhiji built with the common man was such that people were ready to do anything for Gandhi. That was a trust Gandhi had. So what I would actually request you all, ladies and gentlemen, young leaders, is if you can be a great team builder, I think you're already succeeded 50% of the task of becoming a great leader. If you can unite people, if you have the ability to unite people, you are there. For that, you need to be a team builder first. You need to understand people's perspective. You cannot tell, look, I'm like this, you people follow me. No, I can't do that. You have to compulsorily understand the other person's perspective. If you can understand the other person's perspective, only then you can. So Gandhiji, for me, stands as a person who united people to achieve a collective goal. So this is number one takeaway. Next one, Nelson Mandela. Gandhiji stood for uniting people. Nelson Mandela for me. He always rose above the problem. I think many of you might have actually seen friends who have a small problem, but actually they make a problem a big, big, big problem. Leaders rise above the problem. Nelson Mandela was in the jail. Any other leader possible would have told us, hey, I'm in jail, I can't do much. I need to come out and do something. But people like Nelson Mandela, they rise above the problem. He was in the jail, but still, he always fought. His determination was something which we need to emulate. Just imagine a person being in the jail. We would have possibly given it up. I can't do it here. Like I'm in jail. If I had come out, I would have done that. This gentleman rose above it. I mean, these are legends. But for me, this conversation with all of you is very, very important because I'm trying to take the best out of these legends. So if you can rise above the problem and think big, any problem for that matter will become very, very small. Just imagine if you're looking at the problem like this, it's so big. But if you rise above, just imagine like if you are going up in the air like an eagle and you see the problem from the viewpoint, it becomes so small. Actually, problems are the same. It's our mindset. We need to change our mindset and the problems become small. But if you have a mindset that, okay, small problems become big, then we can't help. But let's take a pledge. We shall all rise above the problems and see problems from a holistic viewpoint. When you have a mindset which is bigger than the problem, then you have a solution. I'll just take an example of the great Edmund Hillary. I think most of you might be knowing Edmund Hillary. He, along with Tenzing Norgay, they were the first people to climb Mount Everest. What is great about this gentleman is he failed almost 5 to 6 times, I believe. Whenever he used to go to climb Mount Everest, the first time he failed, second time he failed, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he failed. But whenever he failed, he told the Mount Everest within himself, hey, Mount Everest, you cannot become bigger. You cannot become bigger. You are going to be at 8,848 meters. But I'm going to become bigger. That's the attitude. First time he failed, second time he failed. But he said, you are not going to be the problem, you're not going to become bigger. But my mindset, I'm going to become bigger and bigger. Finally, he scaled. That is the attitude we want all of you, budding youngsters and engineers, to focus on. In the next 4 years, you'll be working on many, many projects. Many a times you might actually come across projects where it might be very challenging for you. But then you should always remember that, yes, great leaders rise above the problem. And as young budding engineers and as future assets of the nation, I want you to all think about rising above the problem and solving the problem. Okay, that's Nelson Mandela for you. Next, we have Barack Obama. He's my favorite. In fact, I was just going through this book of Barack Obama, wonderful book. It's called as Dreams from My Father by Barack Obama, a great book. I for one, have always loved this gentleman, simply because of the fact, the way he communicates. There might be great orators, there might be great leaders across the globe. But for me, this gentleman is very much up there when it comes to communication. The communication skill is very, very important. If I'm able to communicate what I have in my hardest here to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, then I have succeeded in doing justice to my communication skills. If I have certain things in my mind and I don't communicate it to you, and you people don't understand, that's not your failure. It's my failure, because I have not been able to communicate things properly to you. Many a times I've actually seen many great speakers fail to deliver because they are very intelligent within themselves, but their ideas don't get transferred to the audience because you need to communicate clearly and precisely. Communication is very, very critical for a great leader. Otherwise, all your great thoughts, ideas will always be within your head and they will not get transferred. The data is not transferred to your audience. When you speak, just get a chance to listen to Barack Obama, his body language, his tone, speech, and the content. One of the sayings, one of the most important research findings is that body language is the most important part for a great communication. 55%, something like that, is body language. 7% is the content, and remaining is the tone and pitch. So try to have good communication skills, the content, the pitch, the tone, your body language. That's very, very important. And some of you might ask me, I'm an engineer, how is this going to be important? My dear friends, you are going to do a lot of presentations in the future. A lot of business meetings, you have to communicate your ideas to the audience, your ideas to your customers. So Sundar Pichai is a CEO. The way he communicates is also very good. For me, communication is the third most important skill. Okay, after that, we'll get you to our own Sudhamurthy madam. I've always been inspired by madam, and I had a chance to actually work with madam also. When I was in the department of ITBT, I was in charge of IIIT Dharwad. IIIT in the sense, Indian Institute of Information Technology, Dharwad. And I was a government representative, and Sudhamurthy madam was the chairperson for IIIT Dharwad. It was my humbling experience to actually have a video conference with her regarding the setting up of IIIT Dharwad. I learned a lot from her. The most important thing which I learned from her was the compassion. Leaders have to have compassion. You have to be empathetic. And during our talk, madam actually asked me, Mr. Praveen, the college funding is something like 120 crores and government has to contribute something like 30 crores. And I said, ma'am, okay, we'll release the last tranche. That was the fourth tranche. It was something like 5 crores. But our contribution was just 5 crores. When madam said that she'd actually contributed 30 crores for ladies' hostel, I mean, that was huge. That's a compassion she has for education and for all the developmental activities across the globe. For me, she comes across as a very compassionate way, empathetic always, listening to other person's perspective, understanding the problems of the other person. If you want to be a great leader, my dear friends, try to understand the problems of the other person. Try to understand what does that other person feel. Because some of us might be blessed, but others might not be blessed. So if we as leaders can see things from their perspective, I think you're already a great leader. Because this is the most important point I want you to tell. Communication is okay, that's fine. But if you are empathetic, if you are compassionate, followers will just follow you. Okay, that's Sudhamurthy madam with compassion and empathy. The next up is J.R.D. Tata. He recently had his birthday, and I don't know how much we as a nation owe to him. Because this was a gentleman, who actually started thinking in terms of needs of the people. He understood the pulse of the people. He always felt, okay, this is what I want. And this is what the country needs. When everybody was thinking about doing that and doing this gentleman focused on the common man's need. Because of his understanding of the pulse of the common man, he came out with execution of nano car. Nano car, when it started, the idea was to start a car for a common man within approachable budget. The budget was less than 1 lakh. Nowadays, a bullet costs you almost 1.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs. But his dream was to give a car to the common man, to the Aam Aadmi of India, just within 1 lakh. Because he felt that cars should not be the prerogative of only the luxurious and the haves. He felt that a common man should also have access to a car. This is what great leadership is all about. Understand the pulse, understand the requirements of the people. He understood that a lot of people in India wanted a car, but they did not have the budget. Some days we always thought, okay, 5 lakhs is important, 10 lakhs is important. But he changed the way of car manufacturing. He said, common man needs it for 1 lakh, I will do it. I mean, that goes, say a lot about J.R.D. Tata. So if you want to be a great leader, understand the needs of the people. That's very, very critical. In the 4 years, you're going to possibly acquire the greatest of skills in your engineering career. But after the 4 years, most important skill is understanding the needs of people. You might be working in big companies, but understand the needs of people. Okay. That's Tata for you. Next, how can any leadership skills be complete? Program on leadership skills be complete without mention of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. These people, for me, my dear friends, stand for continuous learning. They continuously learn. They don't stop after achieving certain things. For Bill Gates, he need not learn anything. He has already achieved so much. But this gentleman always wants to keep himself abreast of latest technologies. Because the moment you stop learning, that's death for you, my dear friends. Physical death happens only when you die. But the moment you stop acquiring new skill sets, I believe that's a death for you. I mean, for you people, I think most another 4 years, you are all going to learn skills. But this is addressed at people who are at something like 35, 40. You have to be great leaders. Continuously upgrade your skills, because what is the latest skill in 2022 now may not be there at all in 2023. As future leaders, as future technocrats, as future managers, you need to keep abreast of the latest technologies in the market. You can't tell that, okay, during my days, C++, Fortran, BASIC, these were the languages. Almost 20 years back. But nowadays, you name a skill that is already outdated. Something else is already in the market. You need to be, always alert to get the best of skills. You need to see what is there in the market, what's going to happen in the future. Nowadays, it's artificial intelligence, data science, cloud computing. What's happening? Technology is continuously evolving. For you people, next 4 years, college syllabus will be there. But apart from that, you need to continuously adapt whatever is latest in the market, whatever is latest. Otherwise, you will be left alone, outdated. So there, you need to acquire whatever it is. Take pains, go and talk to your friends, have a mentor, ask him, so what is the latest happening? I need to keep myself abreast across the latest. Don't be left alone. So Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, for me, are the people who stand for continuously learning and continuously updating skills. Okay. Now I'll just talk about my real lifetime experiences. When I was in startup cell, I was blessed to actually be a general manager of ITBT department, Government of Karnataka. We came out with a unique startup policy. A startup policy which actually changed the way government of Karnataka started thinking. When we drafted the startup policy, it was 2016. Our MD was there and we were there. We used to sit at night almost till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. We wanted to have a robust startup policy, which is going to redefine the way IT/BT companies are going to start up. We followed the best of practices across the US, UK, Israel, and came out with something which was a trendsetter for the entire nation. I can proudly say that Karnataka Department of IT/BT has been a pioneer in starting a robust startup policy. Why I say it's robust? Because it takes care of the requirements of the startups. We came out with a lot of incentives. Incentives like you want to go abroad, you have a startup company. You want something like 10 lakhs fund. You don't have money. You have idea. You don't have money. So what happens then? You have an idea. You don't have money. You have an idea and you have a product, but you don't have money to do a marketing. So what needs to be done? Because when you have a startup company, you're obviously going to have a product. The product needs to be sold so that you get the revenue. See, startup companies becomes a billionaire company when you actually have a product and you sell it to the market. The product should actually have value add to the customers. Now, what is actually happening? A guy in Bangalore before 2015, he had wonderful ideas, but no money. So what happens then? His ideas die there itself. So when we started the startup policy, we thought about, okay, ideas needs to be nurtured. So then we came out with a grant called as Idea to POC grant. What is that idea to POC? POC stands for proof of concept. You have an idea and you actually come in front of us, the Department of IT/BT, and you showcase your talent, saying, okay, this is my idea. I'm going to change the way things are going to happen. And we fund you. So we started a program called as Elevate. This program was aimed at giving financial incentives to all the budding startups, depending on their requirements. It can be 1 lakh or it can be maximum of 50 lakhs. During our days, we had ideas, but nobody was there to fund us. But the government of Karnataka, Department of IT/BT, came out with the concept of giving you 50 lakhs so that you could realize your idea to POC. You had an idea and that idea needs to be materialized into a product. For that, government of Karnataka is there to help you and hand over. Now, the next important question which the startups were asking us was, sir, I come from a rural background. I don't have computer facilities. I don't have a table. I don't have anything. I'm just from a rural background, but I got a lot of ideas here. What needs to be done? So we came out with the concept called as incubation support facilities. What is incubation? Now, right now I'm sitting in front of a computer. I have a desktop. I have all the plug and play facilities. So we tied up with the best industry people. We tied up with NASCOM, wherein government of Karnataka sponsored certain candidates. And startups were sponsored and they were housed at NASCOM Diamond District, Bangalore. Initially, we started something like 100 startups. NASCOM Diamond District, they actually provided facilities. We funded them. And these startups who came out with an idea, they had access to the tables, the computers, the latest technologies, the internet facilities. So what we did was we gave them a conducive atmosphere so that they could go ahead with their plans of executing wonderful ideas without any constraints of finances. So identity POC was there, incubation facilities were there. Next, they asked us, sir, you are helping us with identity POC. You're giving us incubation facilities. But what about marketing facilities? We said, yes, we'll take care of that also. We said 30% of your marketing facilities will be addressed. So just imagine a guy who's in Bangalore, he goes to Netherlands, he spends 5 lakhs rupees, he goes to UK, he spends 5 lakhs rupees there on his European tour, and he comes back and he tells us that, sir, my expenditure was 5 lakhs. So government of Karnataka told them, we will fund you to 30% of your marketing expenses. We'll take care of that also. And some people came out with a unique idea saying that, sir, I have found out a patent. Is there any incentive? Yes. When we started the startup policy in 2016 and 20, the time frame was 5 years. We had a patent grant of 2 lakhs for domestic patent. And we gave them a grant of 10 lakhs for international patents. So just see, my dear friend, we had everything for the idea, incubation, marketing facilities, patent. Then something came across like, okay, startups are actually taking care of a selfish, individualized needs. What about the government problems? We had big problems. We had problems like road drainage facility problem. Rainwater used to clog. We had different problems, which was a big problem for public per se. But these youngsters were not coming forward because it was costly. They focused on individualized needs of the customer. They were not thinking about societal problems. Then we came out with a concept called as Grand Challenge. What is this Grand Challenge? This is similar to Melinda Gates Foundation. In this Grand Challenge, we came out with problems. We said, look, ladies and gentlemen, all of your intelligent people out there, you have great ideas, but come and join hands with the Department of ITPT, Government of Karnataka. For what? For solving the societal problems. It can be rainwater harvesting, it can be drainage problems, it can be soil conservation, whatever it is. We threw the challenge, and anybody who participated with us in this program, we would again give them a grant of 50 lakhs so that they could change our societal problems for the benefit of mankind. And once they could come out with a foolproof concept, Government of Karnataka decided to tie up with them on a longer scale, on a long road for the 5 years, 10 years. So this was also a concept of addressing the societal problems with the help of best of brains in our state, in our country. So just imagine the startup policy. So what I meant to say is why I'm talking of real-time experiences is here, this Department of ITPT gave me a chance to actually, evolve myself as a leader in the making. In the sense, we could understand the pulse of startups. We could understand what they actually required, what they needed. So then, all said and done, I'm not with the Department of ITPT now, but still, the startup policy which we started a long time back has been very good, and it's up and running, and a lot of people across the globe, across the country, are actually coming to see how we are performing. They're coming to Bangalore to see how startup is happening, how startup ecosystem is being nurtured out of here. Just to mention, like we, Department of ITPT Karnataka, we never walked this journey of excellence alone. We worked with industry, we worked with the academia, and we also took the help of best of the talent, which is available in Karnataka. Just to name a few, we had 3 vision groups. It's called as Vision Group on IT, Vision Group on PT, and Vision Group on Science and Technology. The latest was Vision Group of Startups. So for the first Vision Group on IT, it was a committee of almost 10 to 11 members, and it was headed by none other than Chris Gopalakrishnan, the co-founder of Infosys. So whenever we had any roadmap, any blueprint for future, we used to have the best of guidance and advice from Chris Gopalkrishnan and other 10 members who used to sit in the Department of ITBT. And we used to go ahead for charting the future course of action. So here, we actually collaborated with the best in industry. We actually went ahead and formed a collaborative movement because Government of Karnataka alone possibly could not do much. So we tied up with it. Similarly, we had great ma'am, Kiran Mazumdar Shah madam, being a chairperson for a vision group on biotechnology. And we had Bharat Ratna CNR Rao chairing a vision group of science and technology. And recently we have a vision group on startups. It is chaired by a big name, Mr. Prashant Prakash. So what's actually happening is we believe in collaboration and we are working with the best here. Take the best of ideas and practice it. We have a blueprint, we have a map, we have a vision, we have a goal. So what I'm trying to tell is it's a good ecosystem which we have developed over the last 5-6 years. And recently we had a very wonderful program called as Beyond Bangalore. So what is this Beyond Bangalore? Because we felt that hitherto till today, a lot of focus was only on Bangalore and people used to come and invest in Bangalore. Bangalore was happening and somewhere we felt that other parts of Karnataka, apart from Bangalore, were not getting the required focus. So this program called Beyond Bangalore is focusing only on encouraging startups across Karnataka, but away from Bangalore. Because the idea here is a guy in Gulbarga might be talented. A girl in Dharwad might be talented. And why should that person come to Bangalore and invest here in Bangalore? Why not Government of Karnataka take let's have a big push theory and start big companies out over there. And they come with a lot of incentives, like incentives in terms of land, incentives in terms of tax benefits. And for that, you need to actually come out and check out with the Department of ITBT, my previous department, because a lot of things are happening outside Bangalore also. So the idea is to grow Karnataka as a holistic nation for startups. That's about startup and my experiences with startup. Let me tell you about my other experiences. I was also a nodal officer for Yadgir Taluk under Nanjadappa committee. So I was there for almost 6 months. And the idea behind this was we have almost 39 most backward taluks in Karnataka. And Nanjadappa committee actually came out with the plans to remove this backward tag by giving some special focus on developmental activities. So we were, I was one of the 39 officers appointed as nodal officer. I stayed there for almost 6 months and I've given a report to Government of Karnataka. So here again, it was a challenge because as a youngster and as a young officer, we had to be there for 6 months, study the people's concerns, study the people's problems. They had a lot of, solar power, but a lot of water scarcity. And for me, it was an eye opener going there and being with them. Finally, we did do justice there. We came out with a lot of ideas. We gave ideas like having a grid system wherein every rooftop in Gulbarga and Bidar, in that region, they have plenty of solar. So Bangalore is power, consumer. The Bangaloreans consume power. So we just thought of that, like why can't the plenty of solar? Solar was plenty there. So why can't Gulbarga be a feeder to Bangalore, or Gulbarga be a feeder to Hyderabad? So what we gave was we gave an idea that Gulbarga is having a lot of solar, radiation. So let's have a rooftop and let the farmer there utilize the solar and let him light his house, and extra surplus he can feed it to the government. He can feed it to the government. So a farmer he actually became a person who is giving electricity to the other parts of the country. So this was an idea which we floated, and it's happening in a good way. And I'm happy for that. The next part is I was a monitor monitoring officer for flood and rehabilitation activities in Haveri. That was also an eye-opener because it was disaster, 2019 floods, and every day we used to learn, understand the pulse, see the thing. I mean, I've been blessed because I've worked in different capacities. Though being an engineer and an MBA, my real lifetime experiences has been a big eye opener because being in a house or being in office and understanding things from a theoretical perspective is different. When you actually go there, the challenges are big. And for me, it was literally an eye opener because people had literally lost their livelihood and they were actually put up in schools and colleges. And it was a big challenge for the administration. And I did justice to my work there. I was officer on special duty as well to the Chief Secretary, Madam, when Madam was to the Chief Secretary, Ratnapama, Madam. This was a very beautiful experience because here I was a technocrat at an MBA sitting in the Chief Secretary's office at Vidhana Saudha, and I had so many problems coming, almost say something like 500 problems every day from everybody, taking that, okay, I don't have a road, I don't have facilities, I don't have a widow pension, I don't have a physically handicapped pension. So many grievances used to come to our office, and Ratnappa Madam, our then Chief Secretary, she had appointed me as a grievance cell officer. And here it was really an eye-opener because as an officer, you are sitting there and you're trying to do your best to solve the problems of all the people, in the sense, different walks of people, like if you are in ITBT industry, you're solving the problem of IT industry, but here in Chief Secretary's office, you're part of the whole state, so it was literally a eye opener. I recall one incident when I'm very, very grateful to Madam because one particular case or something like a lady had actually come to our office. Her husband had passed away. He was a teacher. And we have a policy in the government of Karnataka that whenever an officer or an employee of government of Karnataka dies, we have something called as compensatory ground job. It's called a CG. So we actually give a job to the person who is dependent on the deceased. For example, if husband dies, wife can apply, or maybe kids can apply. Here, what happened in this case, husband had passed away in 2017, and when she came to our office, it was almost 1 year which had passed by. And the rule states that she has applied for a job within 1 year. But when she came over here, it was almost 1 year, 2 months. And she came to me. I spoke to the officers concerned, but they told me that we can't do much because 1 year has lapsed. But then I said, can you do something? Then the officers, senior officer said, rules are rules, we can't do much. I said, Madam, though I want to help you, I can't do much because rules are rules, because 1 year has passed. But she went crying, and somewhere I said, okay, ma'am, come over here. Our, rules tells that we can't do much, but come, I'll take you to Madam so that let us see what best can be done. And I went to Madam, and I told Madam, this is the case. This lady is having a problem. She should have applied for the compensatory job within 1 year, but unfortunately she couldn't do that, so she can't get a job. Then Madam told me, which is still there in my mind, Praveen, rules, Mr. Praveen, rules are there for the welfare of the people. These are general rules. Put up the case, we'll take it before the cabinet, and we'll treat it as a special case. And we'll take the clearance of the cabinet, because the intention here is to help somebody. The intention here is not to deprive somebody of their rights just because rules tells that it is not possible. That was literally an eye-opener for me, because we have always been focusing on rules, and we miss out on the real big picture. Here was Madam actually, showing a big heart, and she actually changed my mindset also. So then I said, yes, ma'am, fine, we put it up. So I think after that, I don't know what happened, but possibly, she might have got a job. But that was the way we actually approach people's problems, with a big heart. For an officer, for a bureaucrat, heart is very important. apart from intelligent mind. So this is something which I was in Chief Secretary's office. So my real lifetime experiences has been very challenging, very great, in terms of learning, because for me, life is a continuous learning process. Okay, then the final slide before I actually have some interactive, because we're not going to have an interactive session also. I'll just quickly run through the 10 commandments of leadership for all of you. I talked about being a great communicator. Yes, we have to be a great communicator. Very, very important. I spoke about that already. And leaders continuously work on self-development. That has also been touched upon. Leaders understand the need of their followers. Yes, this has already been touched upon, because that's what we actually talked about in terms of J.R.D. Tata. Leaders are empathetic and compassionate. This is what we learned from Sudhamurthy ma'am. We had a slide on that. Leaders always lead from the front. We talked about Gandhi. We talked about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. And leaders have to be followers in the first place. This I've not touched upon. But this is a very, very important point, because if you have to be a great leader, you have to be a very, very good follower. Why is this important? Because you can't tell that, okay, I'm one leader, I'm going to be a leader always. You have to go through the process. If you can, okay, I'll tell you one big example of one of the companies. I forgot the name as such, but that company, used to actually have a policy where they used to work for almost 6 months in all the areas: marketing, HR, finance, production. The idea was they wanted everybody to understand everybody else's problems. So an officer used to work in the HR department for 30 days, used to work in the marketing department for 30 days, and used to work in the other production department, computers department. So the idea was understanding each other's problems. So whenever they went to HR department, this guy was always a follower. He was following the best practices over there. So he was not always trying to tell them, okay, I'm a vice president of this company or marketing managing director of this company. He was trying to understand, he was a follower. So if you can do the minimalistic job without any ego, then you are already there, because you are already a follower. If you are a good follower, you understand the problem from that perspective, and then only you can become a great leader. Okay, then leaders assess the situation and act accordingly. They continuously sharpen the saw. I think most of you possibly heard about sharpening the saw. And if you're not, let me just touch base upon that. This is a very, very important concept, which I want you all to follow, because sharpening the saw is the most important skill. It's similar to acquiring latest skills. What does the sharpening saw actually mean? I'll just give you a small story. I think most of you might have actually come across this story. The story goes like this. There was an old gentleman and a young leader. I mean, a young 25-year-old macho man and an old gentleman of 60 years. They were actually cutting the trees. And this young gentleman, who was 25 years old, just wanted to play a prank with this old man. And he tells him, can we have a competition? Starting from morning 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Can we have a competition, like who's going to cut down many trees? And the old gentleman, being old gentleman, said, okay, let's fine. Okay, let's have it. Then finally, they start off at 10 a.m. This young gentleman who is robust and very, masculine and having muscles all around, he starts cutting on the trees. And he starts at 10 o'clock. By 11, he has cut on only 5 trees, 12, another 3 trees. By 1 o'clock, he's not able to cut. He's not able to cut. He just starts, cutting it more and more and more and more. He's not able to cut. It's 5 in first hour, 4 in second hour. Then by the time it's 1 o'clock, just 10. And other gentleman, old gentleman, he actually cuts 2 trees from 10 to 11. And after every hour, he goes and sits for 10 minutes. He used to go and sit under the tree. This young gentleman actually makes fun of it. He tells, oh, he's an old gentleman, 60 years old. He's taking rest. He's taking rest. I don't think he's going to win against me, because I'm young, I'm strong. And he keeps on cutting. And he always walks at the old gentleman. Hey, old gentleman, you're every hour you're taking, are you okay? Are you okay? Every hour you're going and taking 10 minutes rest. And that guy, old gentleman, always gives a thumbs up. Yes, fine, fine, fine. Now, what happens after 2 o'clock? This guy is unable to cut. He tries to cut. This young gentleman is unable to cut. But that gentleman is still able to cut 2 trees per hour. 3 o'clock, he cuts 2 trees. 4 o'clock, he cuts 2 trees. So, end of the day, that gentleman actually cuts, the old gentleman cuts more trees than the same gentleman. Quite surprised and amused, young gentleman meekly goes and tells, boss, what's happened? You're cutting 2 trees, 2 trees, 2 trees, and you're going and taking 10 minutes rest every now and then. But I see I started off with 5 trees, then 4 trees, then I'm not able to cut. You are going and taking rest, but still, how is that you're able to win this race? I need to learn from you some skills. So the old gentleman tells simply, I have no skills. What I used to do was my saw, which I was cutting, was getting blunt. After 45 minutes of severe cutting. So every 45 minutes or every 15 minutes, I used to go and rest. And you saw me resting, but you never saw me sharpening the saw. My saw, which was blunt, I was sharpening it, re-sharpening. So that for my next 1 hour, 11 to 12 show, I wanted it to be sharp. So I was trying to remove the bluntness, whereas you were not at all worried about removing your blunt saw. You're focusing on your energy and you're just going there. After that, the young gentleman realizes his mistake and he thanks him. The point, what I want to drive home here is, all of you young engineers, you are smart, you are intelligent, fair enough, fine. But every 3 months or every 2 months, or maybe 1 month, always take a point to stop and figure out, where am I? What was my plan 1 week back? Where am I right now? Are the goals which I planned, am I reaching them? Just take a stock of the situation. Stop, pause, take stock of situation. If there's something wrong, change that. I recently read a book called Atomic Habits. So that book also talks about wonderful things like habits. Have great habits, and habits change your life. So sharpening the saw, try to figure out the good habits and try to focus on that. If there is something which you feel there's negative habits getting inside your system, try to cut the stem. Try to cut the rod there itself. Remove the rod there itself. Never allow any bad habit to set, because great habits always yield positive results for you. So this is very, very critical. Next is great team builders. Leaders are great team builders, and leaders are like captain of the ship. Okay. What I mean to say by captain of the ship here is, all qualities are fine, but the greatest quality for a leader, according to me, is you should have the quality of a captain of the ship. Why is that? Because if it was an interactive session, I would have asked you a lot many questions, but it's not an interactive session, but I'll tell you the answer. When a ship drowns or is about to drown, assuming that there are thousands of people, it is the responsibility of the captain of the ship to see that everybody else other than him are put on the safety boat and they are driven to safety. He should put everybody else on the boat, on the life-saving boat, and then he should be the last person on the ship. And if there is a chance for him to survive, then he should escape. You should have that skill, because you should always put others first, because this is a great quality of a great leader. You should always have the captain of ship mentality. Maybe for the next 4 years, this might not be important, but when you go ahead in your life, this becomes very, very critical for you. Last thing which I always want to tell all budding youngsters here is, you have a positive mindset and a solution-centric approach. Most of you are going to work on a lot of projects in future. A lot of problems are going to come. A lot of people are going to tell you that this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. Oh, yeah, come on, yeah, this list looks good on paper, but you can't really do justice to this project. but always have a positive mindset. So when I say a positive mindset, always stay away from negative people. Negative people drain your energy. They drain your energy. So who should be the people around? You should always have a big mastermind. Mastermind are those people who will actually motivate you, who will egg you on, will ask you to move ahead in life. But if you're having a toxic relationship with your friends, if you're having a toxic person as your friend, he is going to drain your energy, my dear friend. Stay away from energy drainers because they're going to steal away your dreams. They're going to steal away your energy. They're going to steal away your motivation. Just be pally with them. Just be friends with them. Okay, boss, fine. It's not possible, fine. But try to spend more time with positive people who always think about possibilities. Who think, yes, this is possible. Oh, yes, this is possible. But never actually, indulge more with people who tell it's not going to be possible. Just be good friends with them, but tell them, boss, fine. I'm fine, and that's it. Always have a positive mindset. Mindset always helps you. Though I am not included in the 10 commandments, the other thing which I want to tell you is you should always have a clear-cut vision, my dear friends. Vision is very, very important. Vision and mission. If you don't have a vision, I for one have a vision board in my house. I'm right now almost 45, but I have a vision board wherein I have my dreams put across. I have those posters. My vision is to actually, travel across the globe to impact at least 1 million people by the time I die, and to motivate youngsters like all of you to become great assets of the nation. Plus, I have a personal vision of traveling all the 198 countries in the globe. And the vision is obviously to enjoy life, to be good, to do good. But you also should have a vision. Your vision is to build a startup company in future, fine. Your vision is to work in a Fortune 500, fine. Your vision is to get into IITs, MTechs, or your vision is to work, study in Harvard, whatever it is. Have a vision and work towards that vision. Because only when you have a vision and when you follow it up with a mission, vision and mission are totally different concepts. Vision is a blueprint, like have a goal completely, you have to go there. And mission is the short-term plans, how you plan that. But how do you actually execute this vision and mission? I have found that it's very, very important to break down your goals into parts, like long-term goals, 5 years goals. They have a different approach. In 3 years goals, they have a different approach. Immediate goals for the next 6 months, they have a different approach. So for you, immediate goals might be your next semester, passing your next semester. You have a different strategy for that. And for your vision, it might be building a big company in 10 years. You have a different strategy for that. So develop your own strategies according to your vision. So you'll be on the right track. And before I wind up, I'll tell you that recently I read a book called Why, by Simon Sinek. Start with the why. So this gentleman, Simon Sinek, is a great motivational leader. He tells you, when you have a strong why? Okay, why are you getting into this? Okay, why are you into this? Why? If you can address that why. When you get up early in the morning, you should have the why, the purpose of life. Okay, tomorrow morning I'm getting what is my purpose? If you don't have that purpose, why? I think that's not a good life. So you should always have a why. Okay, tomorrow I get up, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come out of this idea. I'm going to do this. Every day morning you should have a why. And in that book, it tells you, if you can address the question of why, then the how will follow naturally. Tell me a why, how will find. People will join you. People will join you in realizing. I think it's almost 3:20, and any questions you can just let me know, Mr. Pradeep. We'll try to answer this. And it's been a challenge for me also, because unilateral talk has been very, very tough. It's something like going in a monorail, and I don't know how the audience are. I can't see more than audience. Very, very tough for me, because really I go for a webinar, wherein it's interaction classes. But Pradeep, you can interrupt me, and if there are any questions, just let me know.
Sure, sir. No, since it was on the online mode, and then we were playing it on the YouTube. The chat was disabled so that the students won't interfere with the speakers.
But my biggest USP is talking to my audience and getting to know from them also, because for me, life is a continuously symbiotic learning. We learn from them, and we actually, we exchange ideas. For me, my talks has never been unilateral. It's been more of two-way. Talk to them, get to know them, understand them, and in the process, it's a symbiotic relationship. Anyways, any questions if you have, do let me know. Otherwise, I think we can wind up. It's almost 3:25. I think I've taken almost 85 minutes to be precise.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Anything else?
We would have loved for you to have to.
I would have loved to have a physical session. I would love to have a physical session with each one of you, with each one of the students, because that's where I draw the energy from my audience also. And I've been addressing all the professional offices, AS officers and IAS officers at Administrative Training Institute. But all said and done, the physical energy what we get in the auditorium is different. But I would try to do some justice to what I was thinking about. Hope I've done some justice. Hope student actually, have benefited. And if they have any doubts, you can always share my number. And if there is anything, any support they want from Department of ITPT in the due course of time in the next few years, we will definitely help them. But all said and done, I request all of them to have a great career in the future. Plus, if they can, my sincere request to them is if they can be entrepreneurs in the future, my request to all of you is most of you might find good placements, and fine. You get a good placement, fine. But try to be job providers to the nation, because great minds like all of you should be job providers. If you can provide hundreds of jobs, each one of you, if there are 1,000, 1,000 into 100 is almost 1 lakh. I'm not telling that you should not seek placements. You seek placements, but try to be job providers also, because in that sense, we are reaping the gratitude of the nation. So any help regarding startups, whatever it is, will always be willing to walk the path with them. And let's have a good collaborative relationship with all the youngsters, and wishing them all the best for it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your support. So we would have, I think this session would have been all the more interesting and inspiring had this been a session in the campus with you being in front of the audience. So I, on behalf of all the students and the organizing team here, would like to take the opportunity to thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure also. And very soon hope to have a physical session with them, in an auditorium. And thank you so much. I thank the authorities. Thank you, Pradeep, and thank you, Rajesh. And thank every member of MS Ramaiah College for inviting me to deliver a small session on leadership. I wish the very best of luck for all the young leaders out over there. And Department of ITPT, Department of Karnataka, Government of Karnataka is already there with you. Whatever you have ideas, you come to us. We'll take it up. We are there to join hands with you, and we'll build a great nation. Thank you all. Pleasure. Great having you all here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you for taking us through your own experiences and
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. Yeah.
Sure, the students will benefit and be inspired to take up leadership roles in the career in their future. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.